Just to make it 28-3. Arthur Blank loving it. Up by 25. Toss to White. He's in. What a comeback.
All right, welcome to another episode of the 28-3 podcast. Today, we're going to do what we love to do. We're going to go ahead and go off on a tangent right from the start. So this episode, let's just talk about the rest of the season, what Derek Carr's injury potentially means, how the Saints possibly approach it, and what it means going into 2025.
Yeah, I think we all got a lot of thoughts on this one from a lot of different levels of assessment.
So who wants to start us off? You?
I'm going to start off with a bit of a rant. It's not going to be objectively what I think we should do going forward, although that might be worked into it. And maybe I'll catch a lot of flack for saying this, but I don't give a shit. Because all of y'all bitching about Carr just to bitch. I'm not talking shit about, if you're a creator, if you're a podcaster, pundit, writer, whatever, and you're bitching about Carr. I'm not talking about your overall product. I'm not talking about your whole thing. But this whole collective mentality about bitching about Carr just to bitch about Derek Carr. It's like an obsession that we have as a fan base just to when something goes wrong that we don't like, it's like, oh, well, fuck Derek Carr. Fuck Derek Carr. And this isn't even me trying to defend Carr as though I'm some true Carr believer.
He's not.
I agree with what we have said before, that he is correctly ranked maybe somewhere in 15, 17 range in his bad games, which he has had this year. And you could even argue that his past game wasn't that great. Sometimes he's like 20, 25 in the NFL. But the whole idea that just the amount of fuck you, Carr, I can't stand this motherfucker anymore. I mean, look, we've heard Saints fans bitch about stuff. I mean, we're the Saints. We've had plenty of shit to bitch about. But usually, if a fan is bitching about something, if a fan has an issue and they want to complain, it's because you're complaining that we're not doing the next best alternative. You're complaining that we have a decision in front of us and we're picking one instead of the other. So when you're complaining about Carr, why? What do you want us to do right now? What is the other option? Is it Rattler? We've tried that this year. We've seen it. It's not going to work.
Well, we saw the difference for sure,
right?
right? We averaged loss by 20 points a game.
Right.
And with Carr, I think we're something like plus about a touchdown a game.
And you saw the option with Haener. Haener's not the option either. And so, but then, okay, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt here. It's like, all right, okay, so let's bench Carr. Okay, we want to bench him because by continuing to play him, we're continuing to stifle the growth of the young guys we have on our roster. Spencer Rattler is not going to be developed, at least this year, into a starting NFL quarterback. That is a extremely long-term project, if it ever happens, based on what he showed us on the field. Moreover, he's not going to develop behind the cast of characters we have at the skill positions. We do not have a good slate of wide receivers for any quarterback to throw to. Even, the only quarterback who could have made this group of wide receivers look decent is Drew Brees.
Correct.
He has made bad receivers look like all Pro Bowl receivers. So you're not going to roll out the guy you want to quote unquote develop and have him actually learn anything or have any positive experience behind those wide receivers. Okay, so then what? It's like, is it that we think he can develop, or hey, let's just give it a shot? We don't know till we try. Well, guess what? The last team Derek Carr was on, they did it. They did this exact thing. They tried. Where are the Raiders now? How confident do you feel about their QB development? Because Aiden O'Connell's surely lighting up the scoreboards. So that's not it either. But if you think, okay, well, we'll go one more. Well, you got to at least give our front office a chance. Give our front office a chance to help bring in somebody better, guide the team in a direction away from Derek Carr. Is this the same front office that everybody else is bitching about, including us? Mickey Loomis, the same front office we're saying can't do shit right? So we're going to put it in their hands? So this is why I'd hate just this regression to when things go wrong, well, fuck Derek Carr. Let's go put a meme up about him. And look, the memes are funny. They're fucking hilarious. Don't get me wrong. But there are so many other issues on this team. that we can be bitching about and talking about. And yeah, there is a discussion about what to do going forward in this season. But it just, I'm not going to tell fans like what to say, what not to say. I'm not saying don't bitch about them. It's frustrating to see it though. Like, what are we doing? We're better than that as fans. At least I thought.
The only thing I can think of where the bulk of the fan base, because just to see what transpired when he got hurt yesterday, and just the amount of just crazy content that came out about, I'm so happy he's injured, all this. For quarterbacks in the league, to me, there's just a few camps that teams fall into. You're either in a really bad situation, which is way more than you think there are. There are at least 10 teams in a really bad quarterbacking situation right now. That's a third of the league. Then there's the elite guys. They're way fewer than you think there are. And I mean truly elite. We're talking guys who have done some, guys who have won. Right now, you're going to be hard-pressed to get past 5 for that number.
Yeah.
Okay? There's just very few of those guys that exist. They are complete outliers. These are your Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Pat, obviously, and maybe you want to throw Matt Stafford in there the way he's playing and just won a Super Bowl 2 years ago, but he's getting up in age.
He's got stretches of looking like that.
I'm not throwing him in that elite category this year.
So there you go. And then after that, the only other person that's currently starting that's won a Super Bowl is Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
So Josh Allen's never been to a Super Bowl. Burrow been to a Super Bowl, lost it, but made it. Lamar, big-time playoff struggles. That's how hard it is to find one of these guys like a Pat. They just don't come around very often. Then there's a hopeful group, right? We drafted a quarterback in the last 3 years. We think they're going to elevate to the guy. We think Jalen Hurts, Tua, Trevor Lawrence, Caleb, Jaden, all these guys, all unproven. Show signs. Stroud, another one that I was more critical than y'all, but same thing. Yes, he's had flashes of looking really good, but has he done it yet for a sustained period of time? Has he really won, or did he win a playoff game against a backup quarterback?
Right.
It could go either direction. Could launch from here, could kind of just stay and be a Derek Carr. That was my point. And I think there's a lot of guys in that same boat. Some of them will elevate. Maybe it'll be Caleb. Maybe it'll be Jaden. Maybe, whoever. But so you have that hopeful group. That's probably about 6 to 8 teams that have drafted a quarterback in the last few years and hope they found their guy, but they're not 100% certain yet, but they're backing him because he's young, he's looked good, and, while they haven't won big, the potential is there. And then there's players like Derek Carr, which there also aren't that many, which are these mid-level guys that if you put in a perfect situation might be able to win for you. If you don't have them in a perfect situation, they're not winning big. We know that. They're not elevating you like those elite guys we're talking about. And that's your Cousins, your Carrs, your what's another good one? Kind of a mid guy. Russ is there now, to be honest. If you give him a perfect situation, he can do it. Without a perfect situation, he couldn't do it the last 2 years, right? So there's a few of those guys out there, but they're pretty rare too. So the whole point of that is I don't think there's a single Saints fan who would be upset if we find something better than Carr. But to act like this is an easy thing to find someone better than Carr is just completely wrong. Yeah. One of these guys comes around a year, and you have to be in that position to be able to get the right one.
Not even every year, though.
On average, I'm saying.
Yeah.
You get one of these top 10 guys come out, it's about one a year that'll show up. Roughly, okay?
Oh, you're saying top 10. I was thinking more like an elite guy.
Better than Carr, right?
The elite guys show up like every
5 years.
Every 5 years, yeah.
Like, I would be so much better with it, And again, I get it. Fans are going to bitch, and that's fine. Like, keep venting on Twitter. That's fine. That's what it's there for. But
just be realistic about it.
But it's like if Michael Penix was on, if we had done what the Falcons did, and we drafted Michael Penix, and he's sitting there on our bench, and Carr's playing the way he's playing, and you think Penix can do better, that makes it even a little bit more palatable.
Yeah.
A little bit more palatable. But it's just like, there's no one there right now, and then there's not going to be anybody there next year
probably either.
Right? So it's like, what are we doing other than just like feeling better about ourselves because we are collectively just laughing at saying, fuck this dude, he sucks. What? It's stupid.
So piggyback on all that, and we'll let Max take it first from here, though. With that being said, there's no debate that Carr gives us a far better chance to win than us putting in Rattler and Haener. So a different approach. I'm not against putting Rattler in right now, considering our situation, to better our chances going forward. It's not because he's a better player. And, the injury may dictate whether this call happens or not. It obviously will. They will start Carr if he's healthy.
When you say better our chances going forward,
Top 10 pick.
Top 10 pick.
For the draft.
For the draft.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's for a quarterback. I'm just saying for a better player.
Yeah. It's not putting him into win games. It's putting him into lose games.
Yeah. And, if you get a look at one of those guys, maybe Rattler's a 10-year backup. Maybe he ends up being a starter. No one knows. But like you said, it's not close.
Or if he has
a starter.
a Bryce type of experience where, like, maybe in some crazy world he needed that little break and he's going to come back renewed, because that happened with Bryce somehow.
Yeah, but he's still not winning.
They're totally different players.
Yeah. Yeah, number 1 pick overall versus a 5th-round pick.
Yeah.
So, if he's hurt, which he obviously is, he has a fractured hand, if it's even debatable.
And a concussion, I believe.
Yeah. But if it's even debatable.
Fell straight on his face.
Yeah, he did. He ate like a ton of those pellets by mistake, I think. Do you just take it easy, not put him at risk? There's nothing to go for right now, right? So I think the debate isn't, are we happy Carr's out so we can play Rattler? No, but do we maybe play Rattler and Haener, get him some game time, let Carr heal, not put him at risk? And in my opinion, if you do put those other two guys in, we're going 0-4, which is going to put us in the top 10, because when we played them, we were 0-3. When Carr's played, we're 5-5. Similar situations they all played in. Washington and Packers are definite losses.
Yeah.
Tampa's probably a loss too, right? And then we got the Raiders.
Yeah.
So, maybe that's not a loss. Maybe that's a fight for the 5th pick or something. I don't know. But
right.
So I think that's where, looking forward for the rest of the year, we have to think about what to do as a coaching staff. But we're also working against ourselves there, because Rizzi's fighting to prove he's a candidate for a head coaching job. So if you're looking at it from a broad view as a franchise, we're essentially eliminated. We're not mathematically eliminated, but we are, because we're 2 games behind Tampa, a game behind Atlanta. We lose the tiebreakers to both, so it's 3-2 games behind both of them. They would both have to go on really terrible streaks for us to get in.
Atlanta's in the middle of one.
They are, and we still haven't caught them.
We have to win out no matter what.
Right.
In the situation.
And I'm saying I still don't think we win the division if we win out.
Right.
Because all Tampa has to do is go 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
To tie us. Right. No,
Right.
They got to go 2-2 to tie us.
And that includes what they do against us in the scenario.
Right.
So,
to me, the season, we're at the point where, to me, it is gone. Okay. I know the most hopeful might disagree, but it is gone. So I don't want to roll an injured Carr out there just for the sake of rolling him out there. Have the injury be worse. I don't know how bad the hand injury is. We'll find out here in the next couple days.
Yeah.
But to me, take it easy. Let him relax. Let's take the pick wherever it is. Regroup. He's coming back next year, and I'm fine with that. And then see what we can get in the draft, because we've got some picks this time.
Yeah.
Let's keep them all. Let's draft a bunch of players. Let's see if we can hit a Rams-level draft like they did and completely turn the team around in a 1-year dip. I'm all for it.
go back to some of our old drafts.
Yeah.
Go
17.
Go 2017 on this draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got more picks than that, though.
Yeah.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, go.
There we go. 15 minutes in, baby.
Yeah.
Boy, you on a
than
heater
Nick.
there.
I'm just tired of seeing. My Twitter is just littered with. I'm tired of it. Like,
Well, you follow some of the wrong people. I'm just going to say.
no, I mean,
That's the last thing I'll
I'm
add,
not
though.
going to stop
Don't
following.
tell me Carr sucks. Tell me a solution.
There are people that I want to follow. Like, I'm going to keep following people. It's just that, like, you can't. There's just minefields of, like, this dude sucks. It's like, okay, great. Now what?
So what do we do about it?
Right.
All right. Well, before I dive into my thoughts, I guess we can say thank you to our sponsor for this episode, Coke
Yeah,
Zero.
apparently.
Hold him up. Apparently, we're all.
That was an accident. But
Yeah.
Look at this.
They
Wow.
haven't given us anything in return yet.
There we go.
So I'll work that out with the,
the
contract. Yeah.
No, a few things. I know. So Carr has an injury guarantee on his contract as well.
I heard that.
You
yeah.
know, and this was the same situation he was in Oakland, or I guess Las Vegas, where they basically told him, look, you're not going to start the rest of the games. You're going to get cut anyway. We can't have you possibly get injured to where we're on the hook for it. So with us, it's $30 million. So if this is something that could possibly be a long-term deal, and I think it's March 7th, whatever the I think it's the date where, if he's still injured and can't pass a physical, that becomes guaranteed.
Okay.
So the thing is, they can't really risk him if this is something that might linger or something more long term. So that's another factor to take into account.
Yeah.
I do think, you're talking about elite quarterbacks and how few of them there are. I've gone on this rant before. I don't think that, I guess, the general public understands what the word elite means these days.
Well,
so
everybody's got their own definition of it.
well, it's you've heard me rant and rave about this, like people throwing around terms like GOAT, elite, when talking about average fucking players.
Yeah.
And I don't want Chris Olave to start catching strays here, but it's a prime example.
There are too many goats. There shouldn't be multiple goats.
There's one.
There's one GOAT by definition.
There's too many goats. They're eating the goats.
Yeah, so let's go off of the dictionary here. So, definition of elite: a select group that is superior in terms of ability or qualities to the rest of a group or society.
Yeah. And then you'd almost want to look up the word superior because people have the wrong definitions on that.
Right. So
Let me ask you this, to pivot off of that. How many elite quarterbacks in NFL history would you consider elite that have not won?
Well, I think
there's not that many.
Not many.
Dan Marino,
But
Fran Tarkenton, maybe Jim Kelly, maybe. Not many.
Marino to me is the clear one that stands out when you start talking about elite performance, like an absolutely elite quarterback.
But I think
there's no way anyone can argue that.
That goes to what you're about to get into with the definition, right?
Yeah. Look, we got to start understanding what these words mean. And, there are only a few elite quarterbacks. Nick did a good job of outlining who these quarterbacks are in the NFL. And it's like everyone thinks that if Carr isn't that he's absolute trash. Yeah. I will be the first person to say that Carr is mid. He is a mid-level quarterback. If you surround him with a great supporting cast, he's going to be able to perform. I think that team would probably get to the playoffs. Do you win a Super Bowl with Carr? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Maybe not. He's in that Jared Goff category. I think when we did the game show a couple weeks ago, we all kind of, that was one to think about, when we started comping into.
Well, we brought up the idea that, if you planted Derek Carr into the same, not the Saints with Ben Johnson, but if you put Derek Carr with that personnel the Lions have,
right,
with Ben Johnson calling the plays,
it would look very similar.
I think it would look very similar to what Goff has done. I watched the game. What was that, Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football when Goff threw like 5 interceptions,
right,
and they won. Jesus Christ, Carr hasn't thrown. He's thrown 5 interceptions the entire year.
That can happen. Yeah, and when you have a good enough supporting cast, like your entire team is just that good to overcome serious mistakes like that. Yeah, like it can happen.
That is outrageous to me that a quarterback can throw 5 interceptions with the skill talent and the offensive line talent and the play calling that is in Detroit. Like that was just mind-blowing.
I think the offensive line.
That's what I'm saying. The offensive line, like Sewell, is an absolute animal.
But that's a whole shitload of interceptions. But the interception rate might very well increase only because you're being more aggressive, and you as the QB have a much higher belief into what's going to happen to the ball once you throw it down the field. But that's a lot.
Yeah. So getting back to the original point, though, so Carr's situation, it looks like he has a fractured hand along with a possible concussion. 4 games remaining. As you guys outlined, we are essentially out of the playoff hunt. I think the last I saw today was that we have a 1% chance of making the playoffs as things stand right now.
But you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, it's like the Lloyd Christmas, 1 in a million chance from Dumb and Dumber. But, the season's effectively over. This team needs to replenish just about every damn position. We talked about it a couple weeks ago when we went off on one of our usual tangents. And we went through the roster by position group, and we said, could we upgrade here with the pick? And I think we've literally found that you could upgrade every single skill group or position group on the roster with our first-round pick this year. So Nick and I have gone back and forth about this. Like, build up the lines, whether it's offensive line, defensive line. We all have been very impressed with Brian Brzee the last couple of weeks. He's been on a tear, making big plays in big moments. We do know he has been not quite that good against the run. That's definitely the chink in his armor.
He's got work to do there.
He's got work to do. Can he improve? Absolutely. The guy is just, he was the number 1 recruit in the country coming out of high school his year. He's fucking talented. He's more talented than anybody. Yeah. But imagine if you could get if we get like the 8th, 9th, 10th pick, and you can pick Mason Graham from Michigan, who's an absolute animal, and you can pair him next to Brzee at defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Like, look at the Eagles. The Eagles in back-to-back years, you went with the two, Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter from Georgia, both Georgia boys.
Yeah.
That defensive line, that defensive interior fucking wrecked us in week 3. Like, we had no answer for them. I know McCoy went out with an injury, but we couldn't do anything. I think even with McCoy in the game, we would have struggled.
Good interior line play begets better linebacker play because they're clean
and defensive end,
and then your pass rush gets better.
Yeah.
You know, so it's it all starts up front.
So think about it. I think we all would agree that Granderson is a solid starter.
Yeah.
No one here is, back to the word elite, no one here is going to call him elite.
Right.
You know, he's not a Pro Bowler. He's certainly not an All-Pro, but Granderson could put up, I think if he had 2 strong defensive tackles, could put up 8, 9, 10 sacks in the season. Like, it wouldn't surprise me.
Your elite pass rushers from the end or edge, whatever you want to call it, it's kind of like an if-when situation.
Yeah.
The elites are, okay, when are they getting their sack this week? The good guys are, it's if they're going to get a sack.
Yeah.
You know, and so Granderson, it's like, did he get a sack this week? No. But is he going to, if he gets one next week, then great. But with other guys, like, over time, it's just like, all right, it's only a matter of time before that dude gets home.
Yeah, and look, here's the deal. I get that Rizzi is fighting for a head coaching chance here. You know, he's busting his ass.
Yeah.
He's got the team bought in by all accounts.
Yeah.
I get it. And he's going to want to play Carr as much as possible because that gives him the best chance to win.
He's going to want to win.
We know that Haener and Rattler do not give this team much of a chance to win, given the surrounding cast and the deficiencies we have all over the place. So
Right.
I see why Rizzi's going with the path he wants to go. But for us, I'm fine watching Haener play the next couple weeks.
Well, Rizzi
or
even
put Rattler back in for the next couple weeks.
Well,
This it's not tanking, but we can get where we want to get, and that's a top 10 pick. By not tanking, we're just starting the people because of injury. Now there's no excuses. Put one of them in and let them play.
Yeah, I also thought it was funny when I think Rappaport came out and said that Derek Carr has a significant fracture to the hand and is likely to miss multiple weeks. And then within an hour, Rizzi came out and was like, that report's false. It's week to week. We don't know the full extent of the injury yet, yada, yada.
Yeah, they do.
And it's like, all right, I mean, you're not vying for the college football playoff here. I mean, no one's going to dock you points if your quarterback's
Super
He
Bowl,
is.
though,
No,
right?
it's like I just said.
But I mean,
he
like,
has to win.
But he just has to win. There's no committee that's going to come in and judge all these teams.
No, but listen, the reason.
But he's got to win, yeah.
No, the only chance he has of winning is with Carr.
Right.
He is not winning with these other two.
Right.
So from Rizzi's perspective, he is absolutely going to say, "Whoa, not everything's off the table."
Right? Because I guess
he might play because
there would be a lot
Carr's
of-
going to push the play against the Raiders.
if it was widely known,
You know Carr's going to push. If he can play, he's going to try to play
I
against
want to
the
see
Raiders.
him
I
play
think he
against the
should.
Raiders.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love
I'm
to see
fine with him coming back for
like,
that one, just for the hell of it.
Yeah, I mean, but I guess thinking about it again is that if it was just a foregone conclusion that it's okay, 5-week minimum thing before you can even start throwing a football again or practice, then there's going to be a lot of outside pressure to come in saying like, well, why not put that dude on IR? You know, and if he goes on IR, then Rizzi definitely can't get his wins. So with Rizzi keeping him like, hey, he's not an IR candidate yet. He's still week to week. Like, to your credit, Max, it puts him in a position to say, like, we can still put out the guy that wins.
I would be shocked if Carr goes on IR.
Because of
Me
Rizzi.
too.
Like,
Only because of Rizzi.
And Carr.
And Carr.
Come on, Carr's.
He wants
Bag
to
on
play
him
that
all you
Raiders
want.
game.
That dude wants to play, and he goes out there when he's hurt. He's done it his whole career. He's missed very few games.
Yeah.
For better or worse, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think he played well in those games. He might not have should have been playing last year.
Yeah.
But he does fight to play, and I think he will, especially Raiders game. That's one he's gonna want to play, regardless of the records. He's gonna want to go stick it to them.
Do you think he's calling that dude that works on Camara like, hey, can you come work on my hand? The dude that works on Camara's like, I think I'm booked for like a few weeks, bro.
Yeah. The other part, I don't want this to get too much. We did the Carr episode.
Yeah.
We're good. This has there's way more factors. This is an Olave decision. This is, who else? Who else is on injury that's kind of bouncing around?
Olave is the only other one who's
That's
not
really probably
technically out. ruled out yet. You know what
So
I mean?
do you bring him back for this? To me, no. Why?
Fuck no.
Why
No.
would
Right.
you even, and I hate tanking. I want us to try and win those games. But playing younger people, seeing what you have is not tanking. That is, like, to me, we're playing the game. We're being smart. We got injured guys.
Yeah.
We're not going to risk them over no playoff run.
For me, and it has nothing to do with whether or not we sign Olave long term. I'm not getting into that discussion, but we at least have him on our roster for next year
And probably the year after.
And
So-
year after, probably.
Yeah.
Yep, right. So for me, keeping Olave safe is much more of a, pro personnel quality decision. Like, don't bang your guy up. Don't get him completely screwed up in a meaningless game when he, depending on what you do in the offseason, could be a huge contributor next year.
Right.
So,
It should be.
Yeah.
He has to be.
With
he has to be. He's
with
our
Carr, on
only-
the other hand, I'm not so much worried about ruining Carr for next year because he's just like
Well,
you said.
no,
he's-
you have to look at it
but
when you
he's-
think about the guarantee.
But it depends on are we
You
gonna-
realize that ties us to him.
right?
Factor that in.
But the
so-
guarantee, yeah, that's true. But I mean, I guess from a more team building standpoint, if the injury guarantee wasn't there from a team building
let me
standpoint,
say this: it is there, and if you
It
are
is
in the
there. It's a
camp
reality.
where you
Yeah.
want, okay, so there is an off ramp
yeah,
for Carr's contract this year. If they really want
Yes.
it, like a new coach comes in and they want to get rid of him,
They
they
can
can get rid of him. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if that injury guarantee kicks in,
make it a lot harder.
he ain't
yeah.
going anywhere this year.
Yeah, yeah,
So you don't want that to get triggered.
yeah.
Yeah, they're also not getting rid of him under.
No, they're not. I mean,
But-
we don't know until we see if
I
there's a
know.
new coach.
That's a
but-
1 in a million. Something would have to fall in our lap for us to get rid of Carr. No coach is going to come in here and just be like, "Let's roll with Rattler and Hayner."
No, they wouldn't do that. They would look for like a Sam Darnold.
Something would
level.
have to happen.
Something
Right.
surprising would have to happen.
Yeah,
You-
exactly.
It would be someone who takes it like the Vikings did. Hey, let's bring Darnold in. He's going to be our backup. Whatever.
Or,
and-
yeah, someone like Kubiak pulls a Mike Tomlin. And he's like, no. I know this guy's actually going to cook. You think Russell Wilson sucks or player X sucks, but he's going to come.
Actually,
and cook.
let me float this scenario out there. So let's just say we somehow sign Ben Johnson
Mm-hmm.
as our next coach. So Ben Johnson, who's the backup quarterback in Detroit?
I have no idea.
Hendon Hooker.
Hooker. Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, no, Hendon Hooker, amazing in college. His last year was up for all the awards. He was a second or third round pick. So
The Pastronaut. Is that him?
no,
Huh?
it's Josh Dobbs.
That's
dude.
Josh Dobbs.
That's Josh Dobbs?
That's previous. 10 years.
Tennessee, but they're both Tennessee.
Tennessee,
quarterbacks,
both
right?
Tennessee. Yeah.
But just
That's
think
what I'm
about in this hypothetical, we get Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson, who has had these other quarterbacks in his last couple of years in Detroit.
Hooker's like 24 years old.
Yeah.
He's actually older than that, I think.
Is he?
He was
He was
real
drafted the Gibbs year, right? Same year.
No, I know, but he was like 25.
But anyway, but
In his second year? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Complete the hypothetical.
But the point is, so you have guys that are younger who could be had on a cheap, like a cheap trade or a cheap whatever.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff you would have to take into account with a new coach. You know what I mean? They might come out and go, I don't want to deal with Carr. Let's get rid of the contract. I'm going to trade a fifth-round pick for a Hooker, bring him over. I'm just using that as a hypothetical, not saying we should do that.
Right.
Just throwing that out there. It's kind of like when Sean Payton got hired here. He tried to bring Tony Romo.
Correct. Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
knew he knew from his experience
Right.
being the offensive coordinator in Dallas that he liked Tony Romo. So
yeah.
that's the kind of scenario. That's the only scenario where Carr isn't here last year. It's if we get a new coach.
year. Yep.
The coach comes in and they have somebody that they have a conviction about because they've
Yep.
had him.
Yeah.
And
It's like football insider trading. Like, we know this guy's going to work.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I think to Nick's point, I think I'm not going to call it a 1 in a million, but that's a
Slim.
minute chance that
Same
happens.
Same
I think-
chances as us making the playoffs this year.
Yeah. I'm not going to say
Maybe
it's
less.
that low, but I mean,
You know who's going to be available, right? We already kind of know that. It's going to be Justin Fields. It's going to be Darnold. It's going to be who else?
Darnold's going to be out of our price range. I tell you that right now. Fields is the type. Fields is the type. That's what you're looking at, basically.
Yeah.
Like a $10 million guy
Yeah.
coming in as a backup, right?
You got to think. I mean, you and I have bets on Darnold leading the league in passing yardage, and he's not far off.
But that's
so.
because of the coach. To me,
Agree,
that's
agree.
why I bet that. But I know. What do you think Darnold gets? That's a really good question.
Shit.
Do you think they bring him back? They can't, right? They got to stick with
They're
McCarthy.
invested in JJ. Yeah.
So that's an interesting one. But I
mean,
don't
with
want
O'Connell,
him. I don't want him.
I don't want him either.
Maybe if you had Ben Johnson, okay. If it's any other coach, I don't know that you can coach around Sam Darnold the way that O'Connell has. I'm just going to say that.
One more thing I'm throwing in.
There's a lot of proven examples that you can't.
Right.
One more thing I'm gonna throw in though. Like, think about the Baker Mayfield contract last year, 2020.
Right, if you
That's
can
the
get
kind
that,
of
yeah.
that's the kind of deal you're looking at if you get rid of Carr. You got to find somebody who's cheap, like
Right.
the Jameis contract this year.
Because the reality is, if you're not getting that and you're getting rid of Carr, you're basically just saying, "Cool, we're tanking."
You're signing up for someone
I mean,
who's less than
you're-
10 million. I'm telling you
Yeah,
that.
you're not playing to win.
So who
you're
are
not
they,
playing
though?
to be
Like,
contender.
is there anyone else? Who am I forgetting? Who's going to...
I mean, the reality is none of them that we know, none of the veterans.
Mac Jones will be one of them available.
Yeah, a Mac Jones type. Yeah. Justin Fields, Mac Jones. I'll pull up the free agent list. Y'all keep going.
Yeah. Sam Darnold is on the 1-year deal. Russ is on a 1-year deal, so they have to make a decision. Fields are obviously they're going to go Russ, but if Russ wants to get paid, maybe they won't. Who knows? Daniel Jones will be a free agent. There you go.
Okay, here we go. Here's your free agents for 2025. You got Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Jacoby Brissett, Taylor Heineke, Mariota, Drew Lock,
And-
Stidham, Dalton, Fields, Flacco, Jameis, Mac Jones, Carson Wentz, Jimmy GQ.
And again, so
Nobody.
many of
Fields
them.
is the only one you could take.
Oh,
if
Russell Wilson, they've got him way down on
And
the
especially
list.
the young guys, they're coach dependent. You know, like the right coach can get them in a good position.
But again, if you get a Ben Johnson type,
right.
I'll be honest with you. If Ben Johnson rolls in
Go
and
get
he's
Justin
like,
Fields if we get Ben Johnson. That's my.
Yeah,
I bet you he could scheme some
would love it.
crazy
Yeah.
stuff with
agree,
that guy.
agree.
I'd be good with that.
I would be good with if you got a Ben Johnson type. I would be good with any quarterback he wants to bring in.
Yeah.
and if
Same.
he wanted to,
I
dump
don't
Carr.
like Justin Fields at all.
And
I
look-
bet you put that Ben Johnson offense and Ben Johnson
Yeah.
coach into that, he will make that work.
And,
somehow.
and going back to the car benching, as much as I hate all of that, if you have that scenario, I'm fine. Like, you know, like if Carr's gone for that combination, then I'm like, cool. You made the decision, you thought it out, and you had the right financial off ramp for Carr, then let's roll with it.
Yeah, and it would have to be a scenario like that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I think if you get Olave and Shaheed healthy,
Yeah.
you get one more wide receiver option
you
somewhere.
need a big guy. You got to get a big guy.
And you get, no, I don't think you need a big guy with Ben Johnson. I think you can run that.
Oh, with Ben
whole-
Johnson, yeah, maybe.
Well,
not.
I think we've
The
proved-
way they scheme the routes.
Yeah.
I mean, Amon-Ra is not a big guy.
We've proven
He's thick.
there's two. One,
He is. He's like a little Steve
He's
Smith.
6
little
feet,
thing.
about.
There's two
200.
Is he 6
things.
foot? I thought so.
Like there's probably more than two, but the main two things I see that can make you a contender in our scenario, like with the current personnel we have, and maybe a new coach
6
and
feet,
bringing in
203.
a potential,
That's not
younger
Steve Smith thick.
project QB like that. The two things that
Chase
can
size.
turn you into a contender are the coaching QB combination. So really, like either a once in a million QB, once in a generation QB who can elevate even bad players like Drew Brees, or it's having depth, right? So whatever the situation, and we know Drew Brees is not walking through that door. So what we know we have to do, regardless of what we decide to do next year, if we're trying to be contenders next year, is bring in depth, because we've proven, like, look, our first string can be competitive as hell. You know, we can play the Cowboys game every week. We can put up 40. We have that potential, but once one cog in that wheel is broken, we can't do shit.
And we talked about that in the preview episode.
Right. So whatever it's going to be,
And that's on Loomis. And the
we
question
need
is,
to draft
can they fix that?
and sign for
Right.
depth.
Yeah, like, look, the simple formula for fixing this team is load up on draft picks, and you need to hit on them. No more of this packaging up,
Right.
current picks with future picks and moving up to take some guy who is a risk, like a Davenport or a Peyton Turner. You got to stand pat with what you have, keep all of those day 2 and day 3 picks, use them, and just diversify the hell out of them.
I don't want to hear a single person who's getting a paycheck from the Saints talk about how high he was on an FCS guy. I do not want to hear that this year.
Agree. Agree. It needs to be, look, I want the
Tired of
big
that.
school guys who have played in the college football playoffs. Give me the guys from Ohio State. Give me the guys from Michigan,
And
SEC. Alabama, all of these places.
Yeah, exactly.
Like right now, I mean, my early favorites, Mason Graham from Michigan, the defensive tackle.
Yeah.
I keep seeing him mocked to us
Yeah.
when we were in the 8-9 range, right around there. So.
Well, because our D-line's in a spot where, like, look, the guys we have, Bink and Shepard, like, they're not bad.
They need to be your fourth and
they
fifth
need to be
guys.
rotation.
It's not a bad
They need to
draft
be
for us because there's a lot of offensive linemen too. A lot.
But the guys we have now the guys not named Brian Brzee that we have on the interior D-line now need to be rotational guys. We need to bring in a young stud to go with him.
Well, hold on. Our 6th or 7th round pick this year, I can't remember his name right now, the defensive tackle, he's number 97. I cannot remember his damn name.
We loved him.
Boyd.
No, I think he's.
Boyd.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got potential. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're going to see him be the designated nose tackle out of the group. I'd like to see another guy.
Yes.
I mean, I think Bougie, if you could put.
We still need a dominant end, though.
We need it. We do.
We need one dominant end. I think that fixes the whole line. If we could,
That's the hardest position to get aside from quarterback, though, man.
if we could have prime Cam with what we have now,
Yeah.
it would be just fine. If we had an elite pass rusher to go with the rest of the, Shepard's a fine rotational guy.
Right.
He shouldn't be your
Bink
starter,
is-
though.
No, he shouldn't. But
Yeah.
but
Same with Bink.
he can play snaps and hold up. He's
Right.
okay. I think we're missing the star, and I'll say that's everywhere else. There's no depth. We have the depth. We have no star on our defensive
Yeah.
line. Now Brazil might be slowly getting there.
Yeah, he could.
Long way to go. But 7.5 sacks is not easy in the NFL from
No,
the
it's
defensive
not.
tackle position. So he's got that skill set for sure. And last year was 5.5 or
Yeah,
6.
I think so, yeah.
So-
He's primed to take the jump. in
Yeah,
year 3.
he needs to fix that the way he approaches the run game. It's not a skill or a strength thing. It's none of that. It's just the way he approaches it.
Yeah.
So maybe we do have a star and he's just not there yet.
Well, it needs a consistent coaching. He's on his second D-line coach this year. Now that
This one's unlocking
Rizzi-
him, though.
Yeah,
This is Brian Young, the
I love
former
Brian Young. I
Saints
mean,
defensive
you
end
even watch
tackle.
videos Saints post every now and then about how intense he is. The fact that he played D-line for us. It's not like it's college and he has an alma mater sense of pride about it, but some former Saints coaches do. And so either Brian Young continues to coach him up better, we bring it, whatever
Chase
it
Young's
is.
playing better too the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean
Something is triggering.
Granderson played well this week, and we hadn't seen him for a few weeks. It felt like.
Yeah, and
this
look,
week,
Cam.
we had
was non-existent the first half of the year.
five pass defense from the D-line
Yeah.
this week. They all got their hands up. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, actually, here's an idea. So let's look at the free agent list for the Saints and see.
Chase
who-
Young's the first one. That's gonna. What do they do with Chase Young? Is going to be the thing.
Yeah,
He is young. He's not elite. What does his money want to be? If Chase Young wants 3 years, $33 million, you signing Chase Young?
Probably.
I am. In a second,
Yeah.
I'm doing it. If he wants 3 years, $50 million, I'm telling him to go away.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because that position, look, like he almost had an interception in yesterday's game,
Right.
And it's like no defensive end had any business being. I wish he would have caught it.
There was another play where Granderson was back there. Like,
Yeah.
He even I think he, in jest, did the whole DB celebration. They showed Granderson doing the seat buckle. It's hilarious from a defensive end. But, so something good is happening with the development of our defensive line. So if you throw Chase Young in there, it's tough to just
25
say.
years old, right? Is that right? 25
Yeah,
or
he's only
26?
25.
That's crazy.
He'll be
But
26
it's
for
tough
next
to
year.
just throw out a number for a guy like him without the context of who else are we going to have to
Well, hold on. Let's do this.
the
So
money for.
let's roll through
you know?
the unrestricted free agents. Y'all just say yay or nay.
Okay.
Paulson and Debo.
I'm saying yes because I think it'll be under $5 million.
I'm saying yes if he's fully recovered.
So you both would say short-term contract?
Yeah, 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay, nothing more than 1 year though.
Yeah.
Like a 1 year prove it. Okay. I'm with that.
Yeah.
If it's a 1 year prove it contract,
I'm fine with
sign
anything
me
that's
up.
just not the long term.
I still think he might get something long term.
Yeah.
I'm not as
I
optimistic
would let
as
him
Nick
go
is
if
on
it's
it.
long term and if it's over $5 million a year.
Okay.
If he wants 2 for 10, I could be talked into that. But
2 for 10 I would do.
Yeah, if he's going to go get like real money, then no, I would let him go.
If it's like 2 for 10, absolutely, because I don't trust Delonte Taylor as an outside corner.
Right.
Juwan Johnson.
No.
Only if it's half what he was making before.
Okay, that's fair. How do you feel? If it's half of what he's. What
Yeah,
Because that's
if
backup
it's-
tight end money I'm good with. Starter money that we gave him, I'm not good with.
If we pay him like a starter,
That's the
then
best way to put it. Backup tight end money, I'm good.
Yeah,
Starter,
same.
no, get the fuck out of here. Tano, Passanio, like
I like him.
he's like 31 or 32 though.
I'd like to bring him back on if he was willing to like close to a vet min.
I would
but-
imagine he's a vet minimum contract at this point.
be
He's over 30.
coming off the injury,
Coming off
for
an
sure.
injury, hasn't
Yeah,
done anything
I'm
in a
fine
while.
with him as a vet man. He's got, but anyway.
Okay, Chase Young, we touched on that. So if it's
I'm going to
what's
say
your-
12 a year is my cap. 3 years,
Okay.
that's my cap.
How about you?
I'm with it. His money gets higher to where it starts to affect people you might need more. But without other context so far, I would say yes.
Well, let's say this though. How would you, if you had to describe Chase Young, would you say he is he's
a starter.
solid starter?
Yes.
With the upside to how would you?
Yeah,
Is he a solid starter?
I think he's a
to you?
solid starter. Yeah.
Solid starter. He's not a Pro Bowl level. He's not. He should be.
He should be.
He's not.
I don't, and I also don't think he's been. I don't think he's been a liability. I don't think
He's not a liability.
and
no.
because that's what I.
No, he's a starter. He's
That's
a
what I
solid
guard against when it comes to like signing people. Like, has he totally screwed us in some situations?
No,
I don't think
So
he has.
an elite end is, we know, $30 million a year.
Right.
At $12 million a year, I'm taking that probably.
Yeah.
Especially 25 years old. Now, could someone come and offer him 5 for 75 and me be shocked? No.
Yeah, I
I
wouldn't
think
be
that
shocked.
could
There's
happen.
always teams out there that are gonna.
Yeah.
Someone's going to throw money at him.
Yeah.
Willie Gay, a favorite of yours.
This hurts because I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I thought he was going to do a hell of a lot better than he's done.
He's done what I thought he would do.
That's fine.
But he's not awful. He does make a lot of money.
Again, he's another guy where it's like,
What did we
if
give him?
If we pay him backup
4?
money as a depth guy, I'm fine with him being there as a depth guy. But
No, he was 1 year, $5 million, right?
Yeah, something like that.
so
if you give him backup money, I'm fine. I ain't
right.
giving him starter.
Yeah,
money.
we can't pay him starter money, but
We got to remember, the thing we've been talking about is we need depth.
Right.
Letting
So-
people go
Right.
makes things harder. If you can
Right.
get them for,
It's got to be for like.
I would take
4 or
especially
5 million
well, especially
again.
with the
That's it.
you would give
linebacker.
him that much?
yeah, I mean, that's not that much.
But especially at the linebacker position in the NFL, I'd much rather a guy like Willie Gay that you're paying backup money to than having to rely on a rookie learning the ins and outs of linebacker in the NFL.
right. And he's started for good teams and been
Right.
decent. So
Yeah.
I'll say this: I actually wouldn't mind letting him walk unless he's taking backup money because I like our linebacker room, and I can't believe I'm saying this.
Outside of him,
I mean, right now you got Warner,
don't
Demario.
forget Demario 37.
Demario's old, but
so what linebackers? So you like?
I like Orgy.
DeMarco,
I like Orgy. No, Orgy to me is your fourth one.
Okay.
I like him. I
saw-
think we all like Sewell.
We still have nephew's been.
Yeah, but we also projected. I mean, that's a big.
Yeah.
We still need them to make a leap to prove they
No,
can
you
do
do. I just don't think Gay is really any much better than Orgy.
it. But if it buys you another year,
If it buys you, maybe I'd throw another 1 year deal at him and just kind of see
that's
what
where I'm
happens.
at.
Landon Young,
He's not going to make any money. So
he's not going to make any money. Bring him back. He's
Minimum,
good depth. He
yeah.
can play all the positions.
Yeah.
You need him for depth or somebody on.
He
his-
literally plays like left tackle, left guard, right
and
guard.
he's another guy where it's like Landon Young, but
He's
you
cheap.
tell me some other dude with the same skill set with the different names coming in at the same price. I'm like, that's fine.
Prentice, the fullback.
I mean,
No, he's fine.
It's
He's
no
he's
money,
actually-
so it's
no money.
fine.
he's done. I thought he's had a good year because he's just had the block. He hasn't really had to catch any.
He's fine.
Yeah.
Ugo Amadi.
You gotta,
I'm bringing
bring
him back. I'm
Yeah.
bringing him back. He's played way better
He's
than
excelled.
I thought he was going to
Yeah,
play.
he's excelled.
So he's been 2 consecutive 1 year contracts. So
Yeah.
would you do a third 1 year deal,
Yeah,
or you throw
I would
in
try.
3
I
years
would.
and-
The agent's not going to want to do it, but
He's not that old, I don't think. He's still like mid
What's he-
20s.
He's year 5 or 6, what was it?
he's going to
think he's
be.
5.
So he's 27, 28. I'm
No, I don't
signing
think he's
him.
that old, bro.
Who was our guy that signed with the Niners that we wanted to keep at cornerback?
Yadam.
Yadam. He's going to be like Yadam, where like I'm not saying he's as good, but I'm saying that the
Ugo's
agent,
27.
the
Yeah,
agent's going to
27.
say, "You've given me 2 1 year deals. He's proven it in this past one. Other teams will give me more than that.
Yeah.
So you either
How's
give
Yadam
me,
doing? Anybody know? Did
you
he
either
get
give me a
hurt?
multi.
I think he got hurt.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
even see him.
So, but I'm fine with giving Amadi.
I think we
2
bring
or
him back,
3.
though.
Yeah.
I'm bringing him back. I'm
bringing him back.
especially bringing him back if you lose a Debo. There's a lot of factors. I'm trying to bring him back regardless, but if you lose a Debo, then you have to think about giving him the second year
correct.
or something.
Yeah, agree.
Because we traded Lattimore. Let's not forget we've already minused that position
Right,
during the season.
right.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk Oli Udo. It's a fuck no for me because he's been terrible.
Yeah, he can go.
I don't care what his money is. I don't want him back on the team.
Yeah.
Here's a big one. Peyton Turner, unrestricted free agent. It's free and clear of all 5th-year options, all this shit.
If
Nothing.
if it's 1 year, $4 million, I'm in. If someone's going to pay him anything,
I'm not
out.
trying to. Yeah, I'm not trying to outbid any team for him. I
Yep.
think you almost have to make a choice between Chase Young or Peyton Turner in this scenario. You know,
I
if
don't
you're
think so.
Based on the money,
I'll say this: when
I don't think
Peyton
they're comparable
plays
in money.
this year, when he played, he did some things.
Yeah.
But
He shows glimpses.
you have to play, and he doesn't
Yeah.
play. So to me, I can't see him getting a multi-year deal somewhere.
I can't either. I think he's a 1 year prove it no matter where it is.
He's in Davenport's spot right now,
Yeah.
with less production. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be like a 1 for 4 or 1 for 5, and I'd probably do that.
I would do that too.
just for depth again.
Look, when he plays, he flashes.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm fine bringing him back on a 1 year deal.
assuming we are not in a position to bring in somebody better for the same price, then yes.
Okay. Shamar John Charles.
He played pretty good.
That's the Yadam argument right there. To me, he's the comp to Yadam.
But Yadam played a lot more.
Yeah, he hasn't played as much as Yadam. I'm good. I mean, sure, yes or no? Give me a yes. I mean,
He's not going to cost
because we're not going
anything.
to overpay for him.
I
So
probably can't. He had that one pick was crazy, and then he almost did it again.
yeah,
He played well, man. He's had as many flashes
I'd
as
keep
Ugo has.
him.
Ugo's just done it more recently.
he's another guy.
Again,
like,
there's no one on this list that if they're getting paid somewhere, I'm
care about,
beating
yeah.
them. But
Right.
I'm trying to keep most of them.
Yeah. Sewell is actually an exclusive rights free agent.
Well, we're keeping him.
So you're keeping him. Let's see if there's anybody else. I think these other guys. Lucas Patrick.
I'm keeping him.
got to bring him back after what he's done.
The only problem with Patrick, I think he's 32.
I know,
So
but you can't.
you
let
have
him
to bring him
Yeah.
back. But I think you're looking at another. You go year to year with him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Will Harris.
yes.
Absolutely.
That's
yes.
100% yes. He's outplayed
Yeah.
what we thought.
I mean, he's a
by
starter
mile.
at this point.
He took the job.
He
He's
took
done
the
well.
job. Yeah.
Yeah.
He hits like a truck.
yeah.
He saved the game too. That was going to be caught. That when he went over the top and batted it in the end zone.
Yeah.
Wendell on that post route.
When I love Will Harris, like when he hits,
He hits like a truck.
He hits
bro.
like he weighs 50 pounds more than he does.
Yeah. And he plays. He's versatile. He
it's
can play
awesome.
corner as well.
And I hate talking that.
You know that, right?
I hate talking that well about a Florida Gator, but I mean, he's good.
He plays corner too. So he's Boston College, sir.
Wait, who? Are you sure?
Yeah.
I could have sworn he was a Gator.
No.
Okay, well, fine. Then Boston College. Let's
Even
go.
better.
Even better.
So he's smart.
I swore I saw somewhere that he went to Florida.
Nope. Another exclusive rights free agent, Kevin Austin Jr. I think absolutely bring him back.
I think he's been great. He had that bad drop, but he's been any chance we've gotten. He's made some pretty great catches.
Yeah.
And he's not going to cost anything.
He's not going to cost shit. He's a minimum guy.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. So I mean, look.
To me, the only decision is Chase Young, like big decision.
That's the only big. Well, a Debo potentially, depending on what somebody.
No,
else throws
that's
at him.
an easy decision for him. If he gets money, you walk. If he doesn't, you keep him. I don't think you can give him money.
I don't think so either.
And then the other big decisions are going to be with guys that are on our roster in terms of restructure. Because
I think the Taysom one is going to be.
Some of them have to be addressed to get under the cap.
Well, they're going to the bank of
So-
Carr most likely,
but
with a restructure.
And that'll be part of it, a big part of it. But
And that's fine.
That's a huge part of it.
But you're still going to have work to do.
See, if you don't extend or renegotiate Carr, you essentially have to
Kill everyone.
redo everybody
Yeah.
else. So it's pretty much Carr or everybody else.
Yeah.
So, but the Taysom one to me is
Carr per the contract or everybody else. Like you can restructure Carr and keep.
That's what I said. Yeah. But
Right.
the one that
Basically, you can just restructure Carr and get it done. And
you probably still need to do.
We're
else?
81 million over.
Well, Ramczyk retirement that
Yeah.
we're all assuming it's. I mean, he's apparently lost like.
I don't know
50
who,
pounds,
but
so
those are the choices. You'll have to decide who else.
But no, I'm talking up beyond the formalities like Ramczyk. Who else after we redo Carr and we assume Ramczyk's retired? If Ramczyk's not retired, I mean, welcome back. If like he's okay, like
Well, he's down to like 250.
if he's
pounds,
okay to
man.
play.
we all
Like-
think he's retiring, of course.
he has. Yeah. he's
But
gonna have to.
beyond that, what else do we have to do? Because that's a huge number too.
It's interesting now because of the Lattimore trade. So I'd have to look into it again because that one obviously changed up a lot.
Yeah, we're eating
We're eating it all this year
this
too.
year, right?
So, which is the good news is 2026, he's off the books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the Taysom one to me is the big. I'm watching that one.
It's such a funky contract too.
Well, look, let's be honest. He's a torn ACL, and he's 34,
Yeah.
about to be 30. So he'll be 35 for the 2025
He's not just
season.
I
gonna
love
wa-
him. If you can get out of that contract, I
He's
think you
not,
have to.
and that's the
I
thing.
think you have
He's
to.
not just gonna walk away from football. Like he's gonna give it another go.
I don't know, man. He might. He's married. He's got 2 kids.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
He's a soon to be 35-year-old player who's already injured
Well-
He's been injured in his entire football career from once he got
He had
to
a
college.
6-year college career too, right? He got
Well, he
two
went on a
medical
Mormon
red shirts.
mission, and then he had
No.
4 season-ending injuries.
All of that
in
is
college.
all of
And
that
two
is
of them were
correct.
medical
I
red
just
shirts, right? He
all
got
of
two
that
of
is
them.
all of that is true. I just don't see him hanging it up.
I could absolutely see him retiring.
I hope he doesn't.
I hope he-
I love him, but I would love to get out of the contract, so it's tough.
if it's a not that there's ever truly like a standard ACL tear, but if it's one where it's like, hey,
It looked so bad.
It looked
I couldn't
bad.
believe it was only an
but
ACL.
if the
know.
docs say like, look, if you get the surgery, successful surgery, then you do your rehab, you'll be back in the standard amount of time, and you can just
But
play
look at his perspective, though. Why would you go through all of that at the age of 35 to come play for a team that's probably going to be a cellar dweller? It'd be different if you were on like the Chiefs and he's like, okay, cool.
Well,
we're going to probably be in the thick
Well,
of
the
it.
reason is the fucking football player mentality. These guys just don't want to hang it up.
Not all of them have that, dude.
Right. So if he doesn't,
Who's the guy that retired at halftime? Vontae Davis?
yeah, Vontae.
Not all of them have it, Corey.
right?
Well,
so
that's CTE.
We're assuming.
I'm banking that my thought is that Taysom does have the football player mentality, that he loves to play the game, and that he's at least gonna want to give it another go.
I think he will try and come back.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
he
think he
won't
will
be
too,
able
but
to.
I wouldn't bet on it.
Maybe he won't be able to, and maybe it's not on the Saints. Maybe he goes to Sean for a year. Who knows?
Help me, Sean.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we do cut ties and Sean brings him in for a year and see if he can have 1 year of fun. Who knows? But I hope he gives it a try because he's been a really fun player for us, and there isn't a fan here that doesn't love him. I mean, he's
Right.
awesome.
Cam Jordan's the other one.
He's been overpaid. We know that, but that's okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have to address Cam for sure.
Cam's got to.
No, Cam has us by the balls.
Yeah.
And it's time for him to retire, but I don't know. I love him too. I mean, he's the only in our lifetime. I've told Max this twice. There's two guys they can stay as long as they want, and it's Drew
DeMario.
and Cam. And DeMario's close, but
Mario's on that.
I feel that
list.
way about Kamara.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm there now with Kamara. All right, so Taysom.
that's why we can't bench Kamara though. I need him to make the Hall of Fame. It's got to happen.
I don't want to bench him. I mean, I don't. He should play.
Who are you talking about? Kamara?
Yeah.
You
What
said
the fuck you want to bench him for?
We're talking about
Nick said,
tanking to
I
get
don't
the
want to
draft pick.
bench Kamara.
I don't want to bench Kamara at the end of the season because I need him to keep
Gotcha.
producing.
And they're not going to bench him. Again, Rizzy's coaching for his fucking coaching life. He's not
came
gonna
out
bench
and
him.
said like, I know what this team is and could possibly be. I still want to stay here. He's made no qualms about it. So that dude wants to play regardless of our record.
So he's over. Where's he at? He's at almost 1,400 yards already total.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to end up.
They're not benching him. They're going to play him. They're going to run him into the
1,700.
ground. Good Kendra, in true Kendra fashion, probably gets hurt this week.
It was a fine mix this week. I liked it. Kamara had 17. He had 10. Kamara had 5 catches. That's a perfect mix.
I'm gonna take this back to what I said. I think it was around like week 1 or 2 of last season when you and I got into it, and I was saying that the sooner we get to the Kendra Kamara split, where Kendra is the primary and Kamara is the going back to the satellite role, I said the better off we'll all be. And I said this at the beginning of last season, and we never got to it.
Well, he hadn't been on the field.
Well,
He
they
hasn't
just
been on the field,
need
but
their own roles.
here's the deal. Like, Jamal Williams is a fucking corpse at this point.
Right.
Every touch that goes to Jamal Williams is
He's
a
not a
wasted
free
touch.
agent. I thought he was a free agent.
No,
He
he's
wasn't on
not
the
even a
list?
free agent, dude. He got another year.
3 for 12. 3 for 12.
Yeah.
I thought the last year. Oh, he's not a free agent. Okay, but we can get rid of him,
I was
right?
Yeah, he to me is an immediate.
Yeah, that's so disappointing.
I don't. Yeah, him getting carries at this point is just like, what are we doing? Like
It's a wasted
he's,
play.
He's hilarious to listen to in press conferences and follow on social media and all that
Yeah,
stuff. So
like-
not taking away anything from him as a person, but
No, he seems like a great guy.
as a football player-
I don't ever want to watch him touch the ball again.
yeah,
Most 30-year-old running backs, that's the way it goes.
Yeah,
right.
most.
AK has been a little bit holding on pretty well.
I think it's now, especially that awesome piece that Underhill did with his physical therapist or whatever the guy's title was.
Trainer
like,
and all. Yeah.
AK, it's documented he is taking a clearly much different approach to his upkeep. So I think that buys him a few extra years.
Hopefully.
AK's fine. I'm not worried about him.
Yeah.
So there were a few other sort of prime cut candidates that have been listed in all the articles I've seen. So Jamal Williams, first and
For sure.
foremost,
Has to.
have to. Cedric Wilson, have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colin Saunders, you save like 2 or 3 mil, I think, by cutting him.
Yeah.
And Nathan Shepard.
Yeah. Same
So-
thing though. 2 or 3 million. I mean, are we really moving the needle?
Yeah, I mean, look, man, every penny helps at this point. So,
81.
But
we
look,
got 6. Where do we get the other?
look, right then and there, if
Yeah.
you start making those cuts, you are like you're narrowing your focus to defensive tackle with that first pick.
Yep.
For sure.
Which is fine.
Yep.
Is fine because we've all touched on it. We don't need to replace anybody on the offensive line except at left guard. Left guard, and you could bring back Patrick, but
Right.
effectively you'd like for Patrick to be your sixth guy.
Right. You bring Patrick back and you draft one and you hope that's a starter.
You want to feel
Now,
like
you
you
can
have
get a guard in the second round, the third or fourth round. Truly, you can get a guard that you could probably.
You want to feel like you have a guy who can start for a few years out, and you want depth there because I don't think we have either right now.
Yeah, but I mean, we can. Penning's shown enough, in my opinion, that we can roll with Penning for another year.
Yeah.
I don't know about giving him the long-term contract yet, but I think know, go year.
If he gets better again next year, then you're signing him.
Yeah,
you're
signing him at that point
because he did make a jump. We all have to give him credit because we bagged on him when he didn't. And
hardest positions to find: the offensive tackles, the defensive end edge rushers, and then QBs. Obviously,
QB,
and if he makes another little step next year, they'll be trying to sign him.
Yeah,
for sure.
They have to. I don't know, man. I think like right now, looking at the draft, I don't want to go anywhere on offense. I really don't. Like quarterback, absolutely not. I do.
We drifted though. Let's.
You're talking about first down. I mean, first
to
round.
me, give me defensive line or offensive line.
Are you hoping Carr doesn't play?
I am absolutely praying Carr doesn't play the rest of the season.
Corey?
And it has nothing to do. It's nothing against
I'm
Carr.
honestly indifferent.
I want
it, like, because
I want that top 10 pick.
I mean, yeah,
and we can get it. We can get it without tanking by starting one of the other two.
How?
Like, I don't see us, having such a great record even with Carr. I guess is why I'm pretty indifferent to it. Like,
but the math tells you differently. He's 5-5.
No, but it's because of the schedule. I obviously have thought better about the Bucs than y'all do, and then the other teams we play there, the Packers and the Commanders. And so even with Carr, I don't see us
and the Raiders.
Probably not. But you got the Raiders and you got the Bucs the last week of the season who may have clinched.
I just don't. There's not enough games left to me to where I feel so strongly one way or another because it's going to be a difference of having. We've already talked about the teams worse than us are so much worse than us. We're not jumping in past 10, right?
No, we are. We can.
We are. That's
how far up do you think we can go?
I'll look at it, but keep going.
There's a lot of 4 wins.
If we lose out, you think we're getting into the top 5?
8.
Top 5, no.
8. So that's what I'm saying. So you're talking about.
But if we win 2, we're around 15 probably.
I only see one more win on the schedule, and that's with Carr.
That's what I'm saying.
But
so
what if the Bucs clinch? And they're not playing Evans. They're not playing anybody if they clinch. Why would they?
Okay, so let's look at this. Right now we have 5 wins. So there's 2 teams with 4. Cincinnati plays tonight, so they might get to 5. So.
And then
you're not catching the Raiders. You're not catching the Giants because you had the tiebreaker on the Giants, and if you beat the Raiders, you have the tiebreaker on them. So you're probably not catching those 2. You can catch all the other ones.
Yeah,
I could see Carolina winning 2 more games.
It's more of like as a fan for me because I'm like, if I thought there was still more to see, like maybe we didn't see the full package out of Rattler.
We could get top 5.
Maybe I didn't see the full package out of Hayner.
It's unlikely we get top 5.
It's unlikely, but I mean,
I just don't want to see god awful football guaranteed for the rest of the year.
Well, prepare yourself because it's probably happening.
But I'm like, if Carr comes back for like 1 or 2 games, then to me that's even better.
I feel like this game might end up being a close game. I think they're way better than us, but
without Carr?
No.
Okay, because
I was about to say, yeah.
I don't think
with Carr,
Lattimore coming back possibly against one of those guys.
I don't see Carr playing.
Just won't throw it that
I don't
way.
see him playing this week.
If he's not playing this week, we're getting rolled.
I think he saves up for the Raiders.
In Green Bay, and they only beat the bad teams.
We're not beating them with Carr. We're not beating them healthy, probably. Like with everybody.
A fun stat I saw out there, and shout out
good coach.
Shout out to NFL or ESPN, whoever did this. The NFC North against the non-NFC North teams in the NFL this year.
Yeah, they've lost like just 3 games or something.
Thanks to the Vikings beating the Falcons, the NFC North against all non-division opponents combined is 28-3.
Yeah, I saw that.
But you gotta love it.
And
gotta love it.
They're all Bears losses, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think it might all be Bears losses.
Yeah.
See, like I'm looking at this. The Bears currently have the 9th pick. I feel they're going to squeak out a win or 2. I think they pass us up. The Bengals are absolutely going to pass us up.
Yeah, the Bengals.
Meaning they're going to get further back in the draft.
Right.
The Browns, you just don't know. Jameis will probably have
total.
He'll win 2 and lose 2.
Yeah,
total
Jameis is the perfect 500 quarterback.
The team goes as Jameis goes now, which is no one fucking knows.
The Jets, I could see the Jets winning 2 or 3 more.
The Jets should have beat the Dolphins.
They should, yeah.
They should have beat the Dolphins.
Now, Tennessee is not winning. No. They're not winning another game.
Neither is Jacksonville.
Neither is New England,
Giants, Vegas.
I think the highest we could get is 6.
Yeah.
realistically.
Carolina could win 2, possibly tie us up, and we split and it goes to NFC record, right?
That game against the Raiders, say Carr is, they say look, there's just no way he can play against the Raiders. That's going to be the biggest tankathon game ever. That game's going to be so bad.
Look, man,
they're going to keep that top spot, and we're going to.
I hope he plays against him. I want to see.
I want to see him play against him, but if the injury is that bad where he just simply can't, damn that game.
I don't want him going out there with a giant cast on his hand. Is all I'm saying. Like if
you got to be able to grip the ball. I mean, and he's going to be under duress from literally any of our opponents because even though they're the worst opponent, the Raiders still have Max Crosby.
Yeah.
And so you see when Carr is under duress, he starts moving the ball.
They got a good defensive
He's got to
tackle,
be able to
too.
hold the ball with the other hand.
Who's the one they signed from the Dolphins? The guy from Clemson. They gave him a big contract. So they got a badass defensive tackle.
did?
Oh yeah, I
Raiders
can't
and
think of
the
his name.
defensive end.
Oh, the tackle. I thought you said the corner.
No, the tackle. So they're going to give us trouble.
What's his name?
Yeah.
I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
But the point is, like, he's gonna have to use his other hand.
So look, let's just say we can get somewhere between 6 and 10. So I'm going to use Mel Kiper because it's the quickest one I found.
It's kind of like the margin. Like what is
So look,
what's the
so
margin gonna be?
number one prospect on most people's board, Travis Hunter.
Okay.
He's got Will Johnson, the corner from Michigan at 2. I've seen him lower, but
Yeah.
Abdul Carter from Penn State, edge rusher. He's in everybody's top 5 pretty much.
Yeah.
So Shadir Sanders and the other one, Cam Ward, both of them probably go top 5 because they're quarterbacks. So
Correct.
someone's going to get pushed back.
Right. And I wouldn't want to draft him anyway. Then you
Right.
got Graham.
So you got Mason Graham at 5. Ashton Genty, no, we can't do that. Your guy, Michael Williams from Georgia.
Yeah, Michael.
I didn't realize he was that high up there.
You knew how to say it. You didn't know how to say Abdullah? That's fantastic.
He didn't remember.
I was like a
Abdul.
vowel off, and Abdullah doesn't play for my team.
So Cam Ward, they got at 8. Malachi Starks,
Yeah.
offensive tackle from Texas, Kelvin Banks. There's some good-ass players,
Honestly,
man.
the guy that I might like in terms of
The Mike Evans clone, McMillan from Arizona.
it's like I think
Jalen
I
Walker?
might like Jalen Walker the best. The only issue is that the issue we would run in if we run the same defense.
He's not getting on the
He doesn't have a place.
He's not getting on the field. Well, you could utilize him as an edge rusher.
He's not a true defensive end
Yeah, he's too
in
small.
the NFL, and he would have to play one of Bond. He'd be like
That only happens if
he would be
for
like a
some
Zach
reason
Bond.
you cut bait on DeMario.
Yeah.
It's the only way that happens.
correct. You'd have to be, or something terrible happened in one.
So look, there's
you know?
some studs like Malachi Starks.
But I think Malachi would be a great pickup, especially considering.
Our safeties suck.
Well, yeah, that Honey Badger's
Badger's
age.
old.
You
I don't
know,
know that they've sucked.
They
this
don't.
year.
I mean,
They've
look,
been-
Will Harris has done a.
You
great
need a
job
succession
of-
plan for Honey
You
Badger
need a
at a
succession plan.
minimum, and somebody else.
And look, we always want to have multiple safeties anyway, so having him would be great. And then look,
I'm
Will
not
Campbell.
Look,
Would you take Will Campbell?
yeah. I would.
Yeah, because I think you have to go into this draft as best player available. So if there's a world in which Will Campbell's there, and
Best player available, but not running back or quarterback, in my opinion.
I don't think. Yeah,
You can't take Genty. You just can't. As much as 12-year-old or 15-year-old me would fucking love us to take Genty,
Yeah,
you can't do it.
I mean, you can, but
You can't. You cannot justify
I think it
that
also
in any
depends
which way.
where you're drafted. I wouldn't. You know me. I don't want to run it back.
Yeah.
in the first
Top,
round.
this is assuming top 10. You can't.
Oh, assuming no.
Us, we can't.
Well, what would you say about Genty if Kendra gets hurt again before
No,
the end
I
of the
still
year?
wouldn't do
Fuck no. You still can't do that.
So it's 2 years where Kendra Miller has played like a total of 5 games.
Draft
I'm
somebody in the
drafting
second
one
or
in the
third
third
round.
round.
Don't
Third
draft
round.
him. Okay.
No,
There's just
draft one in the
too
third
many,
round.
dude. Too
Dude, there's a
many.
million of them this year.
There are a million Genties.
No, there's a million really good starting
But look-
running backs that are
but
going to
look
come out
at-
of this draft.
I've just thought that like Kyron Williams is out there. You know what I mean? Like there's just too many.
He's been the
examples.
king of don't draft running backs in the first round
Yeah.
forever. So
They get hurt. They get hurt too easy.
Yeah. I mean, I get I get it. I'm just Genty's built.
If you
different.
could guarantee me he's healthy for the 5 years, I would consider it. The problem
Yeah.
is they all look at Saquon. He really played 2 really good seasons with 6 with the Giants.
Yeah.
He got hurt the other 4.
Right.
And he's incredible. There's no
Yeah.
disputing how good
Yeah.
he is.
nothing against Michael Williams. I don't want him.
I'm not sold. I'm not sold on Michael.
I'm not sold on him.
I'm more sold on Jalen as a fit for us than I am for Michael. The only problem with Jalen as a fit is that he would have to be a backup. Now, that said, some of the best Georgia linebackers playing in the NFL right now didn't really have that hot of a rookie season. So maybe you drafted Jalen Walker with the idea that, hey, you're going to sit most of the time anyway, come in as situational pass rusher. Because if you look at a Nakobe Dean, he didn't hardly played a lick his first year.
We're not in a position where somebody can come in and sit. They need to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you can work him in as a situational pass rusher, then that's one thing.
Like Travis Hunter or Will Johnson, they probably come in and start for you in year one.
Correct.
Under our current setup.
And
Abdul
Graham.
Carter as an edge, because he's playing defensive end this year.
What's his weight?
If you're a top 10 pick,
Yeah,
you should start. What are
yeah.
you talking about? If you're a top 10 pick, you
You
should
have to
start
start, yeah.
instantly.
Yeah.
You should.
No,
That's
we're
what-
talking about
that's what I'm
Jalen
saying. Like,
Walker,
if we
with
continue to
DeMario,
run-
with Pete Werner, it's
If we have the same defensive coaching staff next year or similar,
Then
and
you
we're
don't
always-
draft him.
Yeah, if we're
Right.
always running a 2 linebacker set, then you can't draft him, which is unfortunate because he's a hell of a talent.
yeah, I don't trust Georgia. The one that the Jags picked, he sucks. With the first pick overall, and
Yeah,
they had Hutchinson.
Yeah.
And I'm scarred with the Georgia defensive
Walker.
lineman back from Jonathan Sullivan. He's kind of
yeah.
ruined it for everybody.
At least Charles Grant
He's ruined it for him.
was decent for us, but
Till he got the contract, he was decent for
yeah,
us. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm a little let down that he was eating a steak shake. What's the name of that fucking place?
Why
we
you
saw him
listen?
in Indy?
What do
Steak
you
and shake.
what do you think these big
You
guys
understand it. You understand
What do
it.
you think these big NFL guys eat? Do you think they're just like eating organic,
You doing this
chef prepared
4 hours
bullshit?
before the game? You going to a fast food restaurant?
I've never played it down in the NFL, so I have no idea. I mean, but
He's
maybe.
also like 24 years old, so probably
All right.
probably
I'm-
not an issue.
I'm telling you right now, my early wheelhouse, my early cloud, Mason Graham,
Malachi.
Starks, Will Campbell.
yeah.
I want one of those three.
I'd prefer Campbell and
Graham. Yeah.
just because safety in the top 10 is another one for me. Like, you have to be the best safety in the league if you use a top 10 pick on a safety.
Starks has got that kind of talent.
He might, but you can't miss.
Yeah, he has had some lapses in coverage this year. Like
Yeah, he hasn't been as good. The kid from
Like-
Ohio State,
like he-
Downs, Jesus.
like Malachi blew coverage against UMass, and I was like, dude, you're.
This is strictly position, not the player I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
No, you're
Those
right.
two positions are way more important to me in building a team than a safety. So that's
No, you're right. And to your point, like the kid from the Ravens, Hamilton, who's
Yeah.
an absolute freak show, he
he's a
went
beast.
into teens.
yeah. Exactly.
So no, that's a good point. I think
He's
it's got to
one-
be a lineman, defensive or
Ed
offensive.
Reed wasn't top 10. Sean Taylor was. but
I
he didn't.
kind of, as far as Jalen, I'm still not off of Jalen Walker,
I love him.
even though
If
I
we're
know.
in the teens, I want him.
I know we don't technically have a spot for him, but I
We
think
will in a year, though.
he's another guy. Y'all know I love talking about character and leadership, right? He's
You're
got,
not allowed to. You went to Georgia.
Yeah, well,
It's
I'm
not going good.
I'm not talking about
So you're
drive.
saying because he didn't kill someone with a Dewey, he's got good character.
He takes Uber. He's the only one at Georgia.
There's a lot of people with good characters that happen to have DUIs. All right, let's just call it how it is. I'm not
Fair,
talking about his
fair.
driving. All right, but I like him. I think he's
No,
got,
I'm with you on that.
He's
I
got
do.
intangibles.
Yeah,
you know.
I do.
So
Well, I'm going to throw out one more draft-related take, and then I'm done. I want the running back from Arizona State in the third round.
oh, Scatterboo.
Scottaboo. That guy's a fucking animal.
I almost want him just so I can hear all of our fans from down to Paris talk about Scatterboo, dude.
You hear him talk? He sounds like he belongs.
Really?
Oh,
that makes it even better.
he's got some.
Y'all see that Scatterboo kid yesterday? Dude, Scatterboo's looking good at training camp, though.
You get to
He's got some of that to him, dude. His
third,
interview was
fourth,
good.
fifth round. That's your running back territory.
Who that?
You can get him in the third or fourth
Oh,
round.
I
Sign me
can
up.
hear it now. Who that? Scatterboo that. It's coming.
There you go.
I'm ready.
All right, I don't know that we
You may have
solved
just
anything.
thrown a
but
good one in my. We haven't solved anything. What are you talking about?
No, that's a third or fourth round
No,
pick. Fourth round.
and that's the thing. We haven't solved anything, and none of us Saints fans should ever pretend like we're ever going to solve anything. But God damn it, we talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tapped out. You got anything else?
No, I'm
You
good.
started us off with an epic rant. You want to close this out?
We'll say it is a unhealthy obsession with having to just
Would you
say
say it
Derek
is
Carr sucks.
car derangement
Yes,
syndrome?
I'm not qualified to call anything a syndrome, but if you want to,
You have your-
sure.
you have
Semantics.
Your car one of one Twitter account ready?
DRS.
No, but I'm not defending him. It's like, God, that's the thing. It's like you shouldn't have to say like, hey, I think you're crazy for saying all the shit you're saying about Carr. It's
It's
just
funny
bullshit.
though. You were on the opposite side of the fence a couple weeks ago. We kind of.
Well, no,
He's been driving the car train for a while.
I'm always critical of Carr throwing the ball too early when he thinks somebody's
His
there and they're
interviews,
not.
his press
I thought
conferences.
I didn't like the ones, especially last year. I think he's done better this year. But like last year, it was like, dude, just maybe just don't talk. Maybe just shut up because you're not doing yourself any favors.
I'm going to agree with Corey. He has been better this year with the adversity that the team has faced injury-wise.
I understand.
To hate him and blame him just flew to
That's what I'm saying. I understand why people just don't like him as a dude. That's fine. But it's just like literally any time something singularly negative happens with this team, it's like, fuck you, Carr. And it's like, that was the defender that missed a tackle.
Shaheed fumbled.
You know,
Not Carr.
yeah, and it's, I don't know, but that's
right.
my closing thing. It's an unhealthy obsession. It's not a mental illness, but it's something, and I don't like it.
All right, you got anything else, or?
That's all I got.
Nick says, do not draft running backs in the first round.
Do
That's
not.
his closing thought.
Yeah, there
Recipe
we go.
for disaster.
I say draft Genty if you got him.
Yeah, so with that, we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. We'll be coming back to you guys on Friday with our Commanders preview episode. Until then,
There we go.
Who dat?
Who dat?
Who dat?